Alright, part 2. It's alright, guys. Whoever's lighting the fireworks off, I'm not sure who it is. Don't worry. They're not here. My dogs don't like the loud bangs. So, they're kind of freaking out a little bit. They're sitting under my chair right now. So, while I'm doing this. Because it's nice and quiet in my house. I got the humidifier running in the background. Because it is cold outside. It got up to 48 today. It's still really warm where I live, and it shouldn't be. There should be snow on the ground, and there's not yet. But it's coming. So, and I'm just biding my time to go out and hike in it. Can't wait. Alright, let's get this done now. I'm going to run that whole saturated patch. I got it in here. It's just caked with the cleaning solution. I'm going to run it back through once. Then I'm going to run it back through again so that I get it nice and wet and nasty up in there. And what I mean by nasty is nice and drippy. And I'm going to let that sit for a minute and soak in and let it break up some of the excess stuff on there. And then I'm going to move on and clean the rest of the gun. Well, that's breaking down the mineral or the deposits inside the barrel there. Now I'm going to take my bolt assembly. I'm going to brush it down real quick with my nylon brush. I'm going to brush into the little grooves all over it and get that nice and cleaned out. Get the little stuff. Hold it down so I don't get any gunk into where it shouldn't be. So it's all falling onto my cloth here. So I can just take that and throw it in the washer later on and clean it off. Alright, take the small end and get into this groove here. And get that cleaned out really good. And if you have any really caked on stuff that you can't get off with a nylon brush, the little pack that I bought, I got it I think from Cheaper Than Dirt. Come with 3 of them. It had nylon brush in it, copper brush, a couple steel brushes. So, and if you have stuff that's really caked on, try using your nylon brush. If that don't work, try using your copper brush. If that still doesn't get it out, then go to one of the steel brushes and give it a couple light brushes by with that, and that should take care of your problem. Now what I'm going to do, wipe it off on my cloth here. I got my rag here. I'm going to clean it off real good. I'm going to dip it a little bit in my cleaning solution that I have in this cup here. And I'm going to go ahead and give it a once over real quick. Real good. Brush down all the parts of it. Get it nice and cleaned up. That way, I'm really anal about my guns being clean. Sorry, but I am. I always have been. I'd probably go a little overboard on cleaning some of my guns, but, you know, hey, I paid good money for these things. And just like all you guys out there that are probably watching this, you guys pay good money for your guns. And you don't want them breaking down on you or getting broke or jamming. I bought mine to enjoy. They're not, by no means, safe queens. A lot of people think I bought my Barrett because of that. No, I got my Barrett because I wanted it. And it's fun to shoot. Right? What can I say? It's just an awesome little toy. Well, it's not really little, but it's just an awesome toy. And now I'm going to take a Q-tip. Just a normal Meyer brand Q-tip. I think I got it from Meyer. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to get in here and wipe out and see all that stuff that's coming out with it. And get all that out of there. Which should be okay there. And I'm going to come over to this side and kind of force it into the groove there and there. And see all that nasty stuff that's coming out with that. Get that in this right here so you got a nice smooth sliding assembly bolt here. Sorry about that, I had my hand up against the camera. But I'm trying to keep this in frame here. Now I'm going to take my brush again and I'm going to get in there and get all the loose stuff out. And I try and brush downward too, in one direction, because if you keep going back and forth, you're kind of defeating the purpose, because it's all just staying inside the little groove there. Alright, so that should do that. And then I'm going to wipe off my brush again. Try and keep it as clean as possible, otherwise you're just going to be spreading dirt everywhere. Alright, that looks good there. And I'm going to put a couple drops of oil on that before I reassemble. And then I'm going to come to this side for this groove here, and give it a couple passes here. Alright, that looks good. I'm going to come here and give it a couple brushes in there. cool. Beautiful. Well, still kind of dirty, but beautiful nonetheless. Alright. See, Q-tips are great. I love them. I use them to clean all my guns, get in the little nooks and crannies of the assemblies, because each gun's different in its assembly. So I'm going to get a new Q-tip and dip it in the cleaner real quick. This is pretty caked up. May have to take a brush to this. Let's see if I can get it out of there. Cleaned up real good. Well, I think that's about as clean as I'm going to get it. Brush it real quick. Alright, let's see. Yeah, that's about as clean as it's going to get, I believe. Yep, looking good. Anybody, and I know there's going to be hall monitors out there say, oh, well, you need to clean this way and you need to do it this way and that way. Well, you do it your way, I'm going to do it mine. And that's all there is to it. And everybody has their own opinion on how to clean their guns, like I said before. This is just my way of doing it. This is going to be a multi-part little video on this particular cleaning job. Now, once I've brushed and pretty much got this thing kind of shiny and looking good, I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to take the lower assembly and I'm just going to maybe take the cleaning pad that I ran through the bore, because it's still good and they cost too much money to go and buy all the time. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to wipe down everything on the top here and get that all cleaned out and wiped down. Get that in there, wiped up a bit, clean that. Now I'm going to take my brush and come back through here and give it a real good brushing. Get all the loose, built up, excess, gunky junk that's going to cause your trigger to kind of be herky-jerky. The reason I say herky-jerky is going to cause your trigger to be grainy. I mean by that, you're going to get a lot of deposits in the little mechanisms of your trigger, which are going to cause it to... Anybody that's heard of grinding and trigger grinding means you got stuff caked up in your trigger. So you got to take your lower assembly apart and clean out your trigger assembly and get it all spotless. Otherwise, eventually your trigger is probably going to need replaced, or parts will need replaced in it. I try and clean it as best to see. That's just nasty, and that's from one time out shooting. That's how much stuff was in there. And this is the 22. Imagine what you're getting from an AR or an AK-47 shooting wolf ammo. Wolf ammo's cheap, don't get me wrong, I use it, but it is very dirty. It is real dirty. And that's the only downside of that ammunition. It's dirty. Other than that, use it. I mean, it's great to go out and just plink with. I mean, I'm not going to use it as a self-defense ammunition, per se, but I am going to use it to go out and get some trigger time on, because like I said, it is very cheap. And once I'm satisfied with how that looks and I'm ready to move on, alright, that looks pretty good, and I'll show you how I lube this up when I get done with it. Oh, one more thing real quick. I'm going to get another Q-tip here and go in the back area here, which is the, I don't know what this is called, it's the trying to think of what this is. It's the bolt stop or whatever you want to call it. I'd have to go look it up, but I'm not going to go do that. I'm going to clean this out real well. This is actually your firing pin right there, or your block, firing pin block. This is what strikes the firing pin when you pull the trigger. Now, I'm not an armorer and I'm not a gunsmith, nor will I ever claim to be. But I just know these guns, and I'm not going to go taking it apart, mainly because it's too much little stuff that I will lose and not be able to put it back together, and it won't work no more. So I'm going to have to cut this off again. I'm getting close to the 10-minute mark, so I'll catch it up in part 3. Okay? Be back in a sec.